Hello and welcome to UWS News, US Election Special. I'm Liam Menzies.
And I'm Ryan McDougall. We are just hours away from knowing who the next US president will be, Trump or Clinton.
Trump has always been a controversial figure here in Scotland. He's well known for owning Turnberry Hotel in South Ayrshire. US News, Hamish Carton and Amy McGee talked to local residents to hear their views on the nominee.
Hi, I'm Hamish Carton here in Turnberry on the west coast of Scotland. Donald Trump's resort behind me contributed $20 million to the local economy last year, but not everyone seems happy about Trump ahead of the USA presidential election.
It's a shame that the US has that type of calibre of candidate. Okay. Now, where we're standing right now, Donald has spent a lot of money in developing the golf course, which is good for the local community here. But in terms of the election, I think it would be difficult for most people to decide in the States which way they're going to vote. If there was only a middle party that they could vote for, I think they would get a great number of votes.
So what about this area though? Because Donald Trump's done a lot for this area.
He hasn't done a lot for the area. This is all blown out of proportion. He's bought Turnberry Hotel, he spent some money on it, not as much as he said that he has spent. He said he's still more to spend. But it's no help, it doesn't help the wee villages.
So that is the Scottish perspective on things, but what about the Americans? Amy McGee caught up with two expats to get their thoughts.
He would bomb Mexico tomorrow. I think it would be a disaster. He will try to put across his views and stuff and impose his ways. But I think the rest of the world would shut down and not work with him. American foreign policy would be destroyed for decades, probably.
In my mind, the person who you would want to be commander-in-chief is not that guy. But I have to say, I can understand how some people would. I can understand how some people would think that he would be quite revolutionary in every sense of that word, and that they would be quite grateful if that were the case.
So it's up to the people of the USA now to decide who their next president will be. Hillary Clinton is the big favourite, but for Donald Trump, will it be a case of you're hired or you're fired? Hamish Carton, UWS News, Turnberry.
Reporter Olivia Armstrong asked male students about Trump's so-called locker room talk and whether or not they would speak to women in the same manner.
It's just locker room talk. All men do it. Those are words from the US presidential candidate for the Republican Party, Donald Trump. We went to investigate this claim, and this is what we found.
This was locker room talk. Yes, I'm very embarrassed by it. I hate it, but it's locker room talk, and it's one of those things.
Do you talk like that?
No, not at all. No.
Do you talk like that?
No, definitely not. And according with Trump, especially in the position he's in, he's not sure what the American people would think, considering that there's a potential president running and saying stuff like that. So, yeah, all guys certainly don't speak like that. Some do, but I think it's just pretty shocking that Trump, being the position he's in, he's the one that has spoke like that in the past.
Do you talk like that?
No, not at all. I don't tolerate misogyny that Trump's kind of putting out in this election campaign. I think it's kind of wrong because they're objectifying women, and it's kind of like in an equal society that really shouldn't be the case.
Do you talk like that?
I don't personally talk like that, and I don't know any men that do. Like maybe older members in my family talk like that, but they even sort of bring themselves back before going really, really far. Like some of the stuff he said is absolutely shocking, and just civilised society, it just doesn't happen anymore.
My experience of locker room talk has been very inane chat to do with football or what people are wearing or what shoes people are wearing. It's been very inane. It's never been quite along the lines of, how I would sexually assault somebody. It is a bit strange. You have to question what kind of people he's hanging about with if that's the way he talks round about his pals. It's never something I've experienced, so yeah, it's very strange.
Johnny Kelly caught up with Scotland for Hillary's Eve Murray before she jetted off to Florida earlier today.
Tuesday, November 7th is D-Day for the United States as they vote for their next president. Earlier we caught up with Eva Murray, campaigner for Hillary Clinton in Scotland, before she jetted off to cover.
So basically wanted to show some support for Hillary Clinton from across the pond. We took inspiration from Scotland for Obama, which was set up by some parliamentary staffers in 2000. I think it'd be huge. I think for breaking that glass ceiling, we've seen Hillary become Senator, obviously, of New York. We've seen her become Secretary of State. And I think that alone was huge steps. But for a woman to become president, it would show that America is moving that step forward. I think people have been looking for reasons to criticise Hillary and looking for, we've seen with the emails, and that's lingered over her, and it's came about again in the last week. Whereas with Trump, it's as if people expect it. Oh, he's a bit of a goofball. We expect it from. I think whoever wins will have an effect on the world, and I think the relationship with Scotland and America, if it's Trump, I believe that the relations will be very shaky.
I think it'd probably be Hillary Clinton. I think possibly because I feel as though she's probably got more experience. It is very difficult because you've just got two candidates, and I think probably people feel that they will say anything to get people to vote for them.
To me, I would lean towards Trump. He's not going to be up for corruption or anything like that. He's thinking for himself. So if he's a bad person, then it'll go wrong. But if he's a good person, it'll go right.
I think Hillary will carry on the progressive policies of Obama. I think she'll further that. I think we've seen Hillary move slightly to the left, and that might be due to think people like Bernie Sanders pushing her to the left. But if she can implement them, I think that America will really progress in a way that we would never imagine America could progress. And I think we'll see America become a much more fair, much more equal country with a great relationship with the rest of the world.
Could we be seeing our first female president or a reality TV star? For UWS News, I'm Johnny Kelly.
Thanks for that, Johnny. With some Americans having already cast their vote, Neil Dallimore hears from those who have already or are about to vote.
I have great respect for the fact.
One of the most controversial election campaigns is coming to an end. Polls have been in favour of both candidates in this last leg of the race, and as we approach the result, it's difficult to predict who will win. Donald Trump has proven to be one of the most controversial candidates in US election history. From his insistence that Hillary Clinton is a criminal, despite the FBI clearing her of any wrongdoing twice, to the surfacing of footage in which the presidential nominee brags about the privileges of celebrity and how that enabled him to treat women as he pleased.
It has been the most vitriolic, the most hateful, the most negative I've ever seen, and I'm 51 years old. It's been an embarrassment, actually. I think as an American citizen, I've lived in Ireland for 30 years, but I'm actually embarrassed.
The Clintons, from dead broke to worth hundreds of millions. So how did
Despite the strong feeling in the media that Trump's bid for president has been an embarrassment, it hasn't helped Hillary Clinton take as comfortable a lead as many in her party would have hoped for. So are Democrats voting because they believe she is the best candidate?
They vote for Clinton because they feel Trump, maybe Clinton might be the better choice. They're maybe voting for Clinton out of fear. I think because of people who've shown support for Trump, they've been ridiculed for it or criticized heavily for it.
With polls currently putting Clinton marginally ahead, voting is far from closed. It's all to play for in this election. What is for sure is it's not one that many are likely to forget. Neil Dallimore, UWS News.
Thanks for that, Neil.
That's all from us here at UWS News.
Good night.
Good night.